Hi, this is Brian King. As many of you may know, I've written many, many books. I've written, I think, 6 by now. And there's one constant in terms of my writing process, and that is I don't write from the beginning. You know, my brain is scattered, and whatever might seem to be the thing to write first might be the ending or the middle or a different chapter entirely. And this really speaks to a need of those of us that have ADHD, Asperger's, dyslexia, or executive functioning challenges, is that the way we order things is not traditional. We don't necessarily start at the beginning and move step by step sequentially to the end. And this really trips us up in a business setting, or especially in the school setting, where you're taught you need to start by solving the first problem and then go from there. And you're taught you have to assemble papers by writing the introduction paragraph and then the body and then the end. Well, a lot of us get stuck in that very moment. I remember when I was going through school and the teacher was always giving us an instruction. Okay, open your pages, do 1 through 10 or whatever, and we're always told to start with the first problem. That is where we get stuck in many cases, why we have a hard time getting started. I remember in 2nd grade, I remember it so vividly because my teacher yelled everything. I don't know if she was just frustrated, angry, or she enjoyed the sound of her voice at the utmost level, but she always yelled, so it was even harder for me to get started because I knew I couldn't ask her for help. She would just yell about it, so I would often just freeze and stare at my paper and not know what to do, because the way I was being told to get started was not the way my brain wanted to get started. So what I'm essentially saying here is, when it comes to writing a paper, when it comes to solving a series of math problems, let your kids start anywhere. Let them start in the middle. Let them start at the end. If writing a research paper means you write the end first and then engineer it backwards, or maybe you write the end first, then you write something in the middle, then you write some other pieces, and eventually you've got a paper. Every book that I've ever written was written out of order. And my most recent one, which I think I published about a year or two ago, it was my #1 bestseller on Amazon, by the way. It's called Perfect Moments in Relationships. But when I was finished with it, I went to a couple friends and I asked them to help me figure out what was the best order to put it in. Because my brain just said, write this here and write that there and write this over here, and doesn't necessarily know how to connect everything. So my friends were kind enough to help me. They recommended an order. I read it in the order they recommended, and it was perfect. But my brain lacks the wiring to create that order. It's just a fact. In fact, I know people, clients in fact, that have gone to college and they worked very closely with a tutor in the student services office to help them with this very problem. They could write their paper, they can put the stuff down, but they had no idea how to organize it or how to transition from one thought to the next. You have a thought, then you jump to the next thought, then you jump to the next thought. That comes across in your writing. It also comes across in your speaking. And this is one thing I'm recommending if you experience this. Become friends with it. Accept it. The people out there that are criticizing you, saying, well, you're liking transitional phrases. Yes, because my mind doesn't transition. My mind jumps. That's what it does. So find somebody that can help you make those transitions. Embrace the fact that you think in chunks. You order the chunks as best you can, and then find somebody who can help you smooth it over. And when it comes to test taking, when it comes to writing a paper or anything that needs to be done in sequence, realize that it's important to embrace the fact that your brain jumps, period. If somebody else is telling you you need to do things sequentially, you can say, well, that's one approach. I'm going to try a different one. And for parents, encourage this when you're helping your kids with homework. Okay, let's open the page and start with #1. No, that might not be the shiniest thing on the page to your child. They might want to start with #5. Eventually, they will get back to #1. But if you let their brain jump, there's a lot less resistance to the task that's trying to force them to go in a sequence when their brain doesn't want to, because their brain doesn't. I hope this makes sense. And if this is helpful, please let me know in the comments. And if others can benefit from this, feel free to pass it on. This is Brian King. We'll talk to you again soon.